On.
Hi, I'm Diane Devani, broker owner of Pacific Ridge Real Estate.
And I'm John Cohen, president of Qualified Financial Inc., a local mortgage broker.
And this is the Weekly Five. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Diane.
Good to see
Um,
you.
yeah, so I think this is going to be this content's going to be for you. So I know we were talking earlier about what we wanted to discuss, and I think there's a handful of myths going around in regards to real estate. So
Right.
I want you to discuss what those myths are that we're hearing. I know one is in regards to down payments and a handful of other things we discussed. So why don't you let us know what those are?
Sure,
And if
sure.
you can debunk those myths at the same
Yeah.
time, we'd appreciate that.
So I've been in the business for about 24 years now and learned a lot. And I think I learned most probably from open houses. When I'm holding an open house, a lot of first-time buyers will come through, even buyers that have done a transaction before, but have been given some information from somebody at work or a family member that isn't correct. And I really, like you, I pride myself in educating people and at least helping them understand the process better if now isn't the time that they'll be buying a home later. So yeah, there are some, and I actually picked this topic because you did one about loans a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was really interesting. So copying you.
Oh,
I made a couple of notes here. I think one of the top ones that always comes up, especially like I said on open houses, is that you have to have 20% down to buy a home. And as you covered in your segment, that's not true. There are loans
yeah.
that can be what, as little as 3%, 5%.
Yeah, well, you have VA loans for veterans is 0%
There
down.
you go. There you
That's
go.
one.
There you go.
FHA, for Federal Housing Administration loans backed by Federal Housing Administration is 3.5% down or more.
Right.
You can do conventional loans as little as say, where it makes sense still, is like 10% down, even as low
Right.
as 5% down. So
Right.
there's so many different options that are available. Just know that the less you put down, the higher the loan amount, the higher the payment. But some people don't like out here. If you're buying $1 million house, do you have $200,000 to put down on the property
Right.
plus closing costs? There's
Right.
a lot of people that aren't in their position and they're staying renting because they didn't realize there is an option available. So
Yeah, it's surprising how many, well, I'm sure you encounter them too, how many
yeah,
people are under that assumption. The second one is the best time to buy is in the spring. Now, this one is a little debatable, but I think it's just important to understand both sides of the story here. In the spring, a lot of people list their homes, and definitely it's a consideration if you have a child going to school that summer will be coming up, and if you're going to be changing schools, that would be the time to do it. But it isn't necessarily the best time to buy in the spring if you're a buyer because there's a lot more people out buying. So
100%.
you may find yourself in a multiple offer situation up against the other three families that are looking to move at the same time. So I think that there you won't have as much competition if you're not buying in the springtime. There won't be maybe quite as much inventory, but if you fall in love with a home in the winter time, then you have less competition to try to buy it.
Yep.
The
If
third
you're
one
thinking
is,
that, I was going to say, sorry for cutting you off,
yeah,
but
no, no, no.
if you're thinking that, everybody else is as well. Like wait till the springtime.
Yeah,
So that's when
yeah,
more. Right now, there's already an inventory issue to begin with, lack of
right.
homes. Now you just
Absolutely,
add
there is.
add another 20 buyers to each property, and then you're going to be overpaying that much more on the
The bidding
property.
more.
Yeah.
Yep. The third one is about home inspections, and sometimes uh, buyers or even agents might give you the impression that a home inspection is optional. We even have a form that buyers can sign off that they don't want to have a home inspection done. That is never a good idea. You may save a few bucks up front, but long term, it could come back to bite you. So, as far as I'm concerned, a home inspection is mandatory. You really need the 3 hours of that professional person's inspection of every single part of the house, everything that moves and functions and is supposed to work. So you always want to have one of those done. Number 4, renting is always cheaper than buying. Um, Again, open houses, a lot of people coming in to rent may say, well, I'm only spending $3,200 now on my rent. And if I buy, it's going to cost me X number of dollars, which the number is usually more that they insert.
Yeah.
Again, upfront costs.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, upfront costs and your ability to not be able, or lack of ability to be able to have tax write-offs is huge, as well as the equity that you build over time. Southern California real estate continues to go up. You will continue to build equity. So renting in the short term, basically what you're doing is making a mortgage payment for somebody else. You're paying their house off for them, which just doesn't make sense,
And
especially
have no tax write-offs in the interim.
absolutely. And rents are going up higher and higher and higher. I mean, it's almost intolerable. So
Yeah.
renting is not always cheaper in the long run than buying. And the last one is, and this one is it's common among sellers. Pricing your home higher to leave room for negotiation. And we've talked about this before. Overpricing your home can drive buyers away. Your home, if it's sitting on the market past a couple of weeks, it will look stale. You will lose buyers' interest. They'll look at how long it's been on the market, possibly even
Yeah.
think something's wrong with it. We've talked about that before. Actually, sometimes if you price it a little under market, you can get more bids, more people interested. It can go in a multiple offer situation, and actually you might end up getting more money than you would if you priced it higher to begin with. So
That's pretty common right now.
it,
That's
it
a that's
really,
a that's a smart move if you're selling, and it's quite the opposite if you're the buyer. You're
right.
trying to come in and putting an offer in based on what they're listing the property for just to create a bid. You're not going to get that offer. There's going to
Yeah,
be 20 other offers coming in at what the value of the property is. And you and I talked about that on one of our previous
right.
podcasts, but
Right. And you
that's
don't ever have to, I mean, I would never encourage a seller to just for the heck of it as a game to price something low to try to get everybody to bid it up. You know, like on eBay,
yeah,
you'll see
yeah,
somebody list something for a penny because they know darn well that it's going to go
yeah.
for a lot more. I'm not saying that, but I think that it's important to, you know, a seller doesn't ever have to accept any certain offer. They don't have to sell their home for less than they want to, but it's good to just make it very attractive to the most amount of people from the very beginning and peak interest. So those are the top 5 myths debunked today, and I may even find 5 more for a later segment that we do.
Well, I
But
appreciate it. That's all the time we have today. Always great information. Thank you for sharing.
yes, you're
And
welcome.
until next week,
Thanks
bye
for
for
joining us.
now. Take care.